Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of CFE TV. I'm Dan, and welcome to Cricket Field End TV. Hello, guys, and welcome. Hope you're all okay. Obviously, we've got a few comments coming in already. So, hi to Mel. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Um, thanks for that. I made it myself, so I'm quite proud of it. But yeah, also hope you're okay. So everything on your Twitter. So fingers crossed that you're hopefully on the mend soon and everything's feeling all right for yourself. Uh, Burnley West Ham. It's going to be a tough one. Like I say, we're 14th, they're 5th. They're still fighting for a Champions League place. Some might say they might be, out of that running. European spots probably best they can get. But to give us that sort of input, we have Luke, who is here with us from Irons TV, Irons United. Sorry, how are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, first of all, tell us a bit about yourself, Irons United, and your background with West Ham.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me on.
Oh, not a problem.
Yeah, I've been with Irons United a few years now, and I don't always get a chance to do live videos and stuff like that. But when I do, it's great to sort of meet different fans. We have opposition fans come onto our channel and stuff like that, and it's just great to sort of meet new people and have a chat about the teams we all support. But yeah, Irons United is just a fan channel. For West Ham, a lot of West Ham fans. We're a very passionate bunch, as most fans are, and everyone just wants to get their opinion out there, which is great. I'm one of them. I'm probably too passionate and too opinionated sometimes, but that's great for Irons United. But your intro there, by the way, the music was great, and I think you need to have a word with Anton, the guy who runs our videos and stuff like that, because he could do some tips on some good tracks and good music sometimes, because he's abysmal with his choices at times. But yeah, no, it's good. It's been running quite a few years now, and the channel's picking up, but it's hard work sometimes when you've got to sort of be sort of dedicated to it and stuff like that. But it's all for the love of the game, in it, really, and everyone's opinions and stuff like that. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, it is good. I mean, I enjoy doing this. It's give us something else to do, with during the pandemic as well. So,
Yeah,
taking us away from constantly watching the news all the time and sort of getting together with opposition fans, and you sort of can look at a team and go, oh, I don't like them, or they played crap last week, etc. But to get a proper insight from an opposition fan that watches them week in, week out, I mean, you can't get any better, really. So, no, thanks for coming on.
yeah, that's all right.
And to be fair, I was going to go straight in and ask you your thoughts on the season, but I want to ask you a question that kind of came to me prior to that, which was, what was your initial thoughts when they reappointed Moyes?
Oh, this is good, because I'm going to sound a bit hypocritical here. I think with me, I thought it was cheap appointment. He's free. No one really wants him. And this is typical of our owners taking a cheap option, and just trying to go, oh, he'll do. If we stay up, we stay up. If we don't, we don't. It's not much of our back pocket. They failed with Pellegrini. Whether he failed as well. They didn't invest as much in the second season as they did in the first season, which I think was another reason why he probably failed in the end. But we brought Moyes back. Everyone was like, oh, here we go again. We've not got any fresh ideas. We've got to bring back the guy that they got rid of the first time. Has he got no pride to say no? So he didn't give me the job first time around. I'm in a much better position. But I'm not going to say lucky for us, because as fans and as clubs, we've got pride that we're better than a certain standard. But to be fair play to him. He's come in and he's changed things around. But when he first come in, I think we lost we won the first game he was in, and it was 4-0. But we were thinking it was Bournemouth, and Bournemouth having quite a bad season, and we're thinking, can we judge him just off that? And I think there was a few instances after that, few games, where it's a bit like, oh, this is the old Moyes that failed at Man United and didn't do very well at Sociedad and stuff like that. But since then, he's I think he's said himself when he didn't get the permanent job at West Ham last time around. He went off and he done some scouting. He'd done a lot of work in football across Europe, and he educated himself. And it's one of the reasons why he's able to bring in Souček and Soufal from Slavia Prague, because he was able to learn how to scout properly and get these players in. Because I'm not even funny, our owners don't like paying very much money for where
we know that as well.
Yeah,
you offer a Freddo and a flaming Panda Pop, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I wouldn't mind that if they didn't keep saying we want to go for Europe, we want to make a success. We've moved to this stadium in Stratford to try and get a big success, and they're not really paying out that much money. So in a way, he's had to go and buy the Souček for 20 million. He's had to go and buy a Soufal for 5 million, stuff like that. But Moyes, for me, is just he's won an award this week for being the manager of the year at London Football Writers, I think it is, and he's fully deserved it, to be fair. Even if you don't finish in Europe, from where we were last season, for saving us to where we are now, it's amazing. It's for me, it's almost like a football miracle story, and it's one of them things you think, oh, they'll bring out a Netflix documentary in the next month or so, because it just doesn't seem fathomable. But he has really proved everyone wrong, I think. I don't think people think he was going to be all that, but he done a fantastic job of saving us from relegation. The football wasn't even that bad. A lot of people say it's boring football, but you watch it, it's not that boring. And the players give 100%. So when you see that on the field, no matter what football you're playing, it's always great to watch, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree. I mean, Moyes, for me, I rated him when he was at Everton. I think everybody started to know that when Fergie's time was up, he was the man pretty much going in. But then you do get managers at the time that, they do have a blip, or they do need, it's like a new player coming in to a degree where they have to have that gelling in period.
Yeah.
But I suppose as a manager, you can't look at it like that, because you expect instant results. You expect something to happen. But I've always liked Moyes, even though he's played for Preston and managed Preston and things like that. But I've always sort of liked him as a manager. Did I expect him to do as well as he has done this time round? Probably not. It was a strange one for me when you appointed him, because I was a bit like, right, hold on. It didn't work. It didn't sort of work the first time. So why would they go back there? And it's like you say, maybe a cheap option. Sorry, but yeah, it's Mel's an Arsenal supporter. She's put Moyes signed the same time as Arsenal, but got them really far ahead from us, literally. I mean, he has done well this season. I mean, I look at managers like Eddie Howe, like you said, going back to when you said about Bournemouth. Eddie Howe took, obviously, Bournemouth from League Two pretty much all the way to the Premier League. Well, not pretty much, did. Yeah. And then he's judged on that one bad season that he went down, really. And it's why, for me, when people have said that he's linked with Spurs. Oh yeah, I think we knew what you mean, even though I said Arsenal. Yeah, that he went in the same time as Arteta. But yeah, he's he's sort of that same manager. For me, he's in that similar bracket of Eddie Howe.
Yeah,
there's a lot of attacking. It is quite attacking. I can't understand why people would say it's boring to watch, because what I've seen of West Ham, it's very sort of, it can be direct at times, but then there's the capability to adapt. And 1 minute your wingers just pop up out of nowhere, and it's not even like they're getting down the bar line and flaming whipping it in, because you've not got the likes of Andy Carroll or out. You ain't got a big shit house up front that you can just try and knock it in and bully people anymore. It's just sort of.
Well, we've got Antonio, but he can't jump. That's the only thing, he can't jump.
No, and if he does, his ankles would snap.
Yeah, bless him.
But I mean, moving on from Moyes, then obviously your thoughts on this season. I mean, what a fantastic season you have had.
Well, this is the thing. I think that Moyes doing so well this season has caught our owners by surprise. I don't think they thought it was going to go as well as it has, and I think maybe the investment-wise, they're hoping that they get Champions League, because it'll be the only way to then pay for the investment that we're going to need if we are going to be in Europe. And it's caught everyone by surprise. I think this is different. When people say they want to be successful, you don't know how much they mean it. And perhaps the whole pandemic with no fans being in has been a great help. Yeah. But I was saying this to people before, throughout the season, people saying, "Oh, the league's not what it was because fans aren't in it." I think when you look at most teams where they are, they are where you'd expect them to be. The top 4, the top 6 is more or less who you think it was. Obviously, Liverpool have dropped right down from where they are. They've had their problems, but the bottom lot are who you kind of expect them to be. And luckily for us, I think literally only West Ham are the team you go, what are they doing? You know, they're fancying themselves a bit much. And honestly, this has been a crazy season because we're so used to West Ham playing a certain way for every other team in the league. And then when we get the top 6 teams being really up for it, all the players wanting to go, the crowd being up for it, the atmosphere being fantastic. It's a London derby, let's go for it. But to be fair, the players have been playing just as well against the teams who are mid-table, even the relegation battle teams, as they have for the top 4. We've had, if anything, we've actually dropped performances against the top 4. We've been a little bit too respectful of them, and that's probably why we dropped points at certain bits of the season. But normally, you know, we play Wolverhampton, we play Leicester, you know, and we go and beat them 4-0 and 3-0 at the start of the season, and we're like, well, where'd that come from? You know, Leicester didn't even have a shot on goal against us practically, and it's a completely different. It's a very, very weird scenario. And ironically, the only time that fans were allowed in during this season, we lost at home to 3-1 to Man United. So you know, we could have been 5-0 at half time in that game, but it is mental. And this is the thing is that people say to us all the time, "Oh, West Ham can't be unhappy because, you know, if you don't finish top 4 because you still had a great season." And it's one of these things in life where it's like a dangling carrot. All West Ham fans are pretty much going, "Oh my God, we're in top 4. We should be like, we're nowhere near relegation." You know, the season's a complete turnaround from what it was and what it could have been. But at the same time, when you've got the Champions League sitting there and you're going, we could be there though. This is a great season. There's nothing really. It's an absolutely fantastic 105-star season for us compared to what last season was, especially. But when you've got the Champions League there, you do get a bit greedy. You do get a bit spoiled.
Of course
you do
you
get a bit like, no, if you don't get there, everyone's gonna be like, I can't. This is gutting. You should be going, all right, we didn't get it. Fair enough. But look at the season. But there is part of you that goes, after the Chelsea game, I thought, I shouldn't have got my hopes up. I should have just known that it was going to happen. That there was no point getting excited or anything like that because it was the dream's too big. And I'm being told by other people we can still make top 4 if we really push it, but I can't get my hopes up like that anymore. For me, it's going to be Europa, maybe Europa Conference that I'm hearing about is a new thing, but it has been an incredible season. It's not just results wise, it's performance wise as well. So when you get that, it's the full ticket. So it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've had what I mean. You said let's talk about what you said to us off camera.
Yeah,
I mean, Champions League, yes, you'd obviously lap it up like no tomorrow. But for you, is it still a good season if you get Europa? Do you think you're out of that race now for the Champions League?
I said to you, I personally do, because I don't see us getting Champions League now. Like I said to you, you know, we can't draw 3-3 with Arsenal after being 3-0 up against them. We can't lose to Newcastle because, you know, that was at a time when I think we had teams around us dropping points as well. And then, you know, the last game, Chelsea are our rivals for the top 4 spot, and you can't, in my opinion, you can't lose to your rivals who you're fighting for the spot. But that's very defeatist of me, and I've been told, you know, don't be so defeatist. You know, there's 5 games left to play. Chelsea can still drop points. I don't really see them dropping points. I think they're in too good a form to drop points. So, in my opinion, it's gone. If we get it, it's a massive bonus. But at the moment, I can't. I'm only human. I've got one heart. You know what I mean? I can't keep giving me hopes up all the time. But we'll see what happens, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, personally, Europa would be a quality season. I mean, looking from the outside for you guys, I mean, it's like you touched on, being at that touching distance, having 1 foot through the door. Mm-hmm. You know, it's gut wrenching because you sort of want it, and then no, you can't sort of have it. I mean, with Chelsea's sort of playing against Real Madrid, there is a chance that, you know, maybe there could be that slight little chance with them still in another competition that you can get that 4th position. But like you say, between fifth and 6th, as long as you get either one of them 2 positions, you pretty much, it's a concrete season for you guys. I mean, who's been a standout player for you this year? Who's sort of, I mean, that's a tough one in itself because of where you are.
Yeah.
And you could look at it from a goal point of view, from who's kept you in games, etc. But yeah, who for you personally has stood out?
I think I'm not. This is very rare. West Ham fan can say this, right? There's too many to pick. But if I'm going to be honest with you, I think Souček has to be the stand-up player, and it's going from
He's
last season.
quality. He's quality.
Honestly, this did, to put him in context, right? There was a thing on Twitter the other day saying that Souček hasn't scored in so many games. You're going, he's a holding midfielder. The fact that he scores in a game anyway is a bit like bewildering. But the fact that he was scoring like, I don't know, 5 in 10 or whatever it was. But I think what happened was Moyes brought him in as we were fighting relegation, and you could just tell technically he was above a standard. I think we played against Liverpool last season. We lost 3-2 to them in the end, but we were 2-1 up at the time, and he was playing to about the 60th minute. And only after he come off did Liverpool smell blood, and they went for it, and they did a mistake by Fabianski, and we ended up going downhill. But since he's come in, the partnership with Rice has aided the midfield no end, and unfortunately he's got injured recently, which could obviously have an effect on what the results we're getting. But he has completely changed the demographic. And then we brought in his teammate from Slavia Prague as well, Safal, one of the best right backs in the league for me. It could be a bit of an outlandish statement, but there's not many players, not many good Premier League wingers who get past him all the time. Jack Grealish struggled last time we played Villa, so he's been fantastic. He's only cost 5 million, bargain of the summer for me. So there's so many. It would kind of be unfair to choose from, and this is the funny thing. Normally, West Ham are fighting relegation or trying to keep up in mid-table, and we go, well, that guy had 5 good games this season. He must get it. Rice has been pretty good all season. This, we're trying to scrape the barrel for people to give a Hammer of the Year award to. This one, we're gonna have to try and say sorry, he didn't win it to about 11 players. And this is not me trying to be cocky. This is me being surprised.
It's going to be like a wedding moment, isn't it? Moyes just stands there. He's going to treat that Player of the Season trophy like a bouquet and throw it behind him. Whoever catches it gets it.
That's it, exactly, 100%. And it's refreshing for West Ham to be like this. And I've been on videos on YouTube and stuff like that where we've been moaning about the results and moaning at the players that they don't care, and this hasn't happened and this hasn't happened. But this season, I've lost count of the amount of times where I'm looking back on old videos to look at how well we're talking things up and how the reaction to match day lives and stuff like that. So every player, I think, has put hard work in. There's no player that shirked any responsibility, and it's just been a fantastic season. And I'm in dream world at the minute, and it's this. I don't want to wake up. It's great.
So it's obviously we'll touch on the loan of Jesse Lingard. Yeah. Surely you'd want to keep hold of him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we've been talking about it lately, and he's only got a year on his contract to Man United after this, and people don't see him getting over Bruno Fernandes and stuff like that. I personally, and it's going to sound like I'm being a bit stupid here, maybe, but I wouldn't pay any more than maybe 20 million. It's purely down to the fact of his age and his contract status, because West Ham haven't got any money. The rumours we're saying now is that Moyes is going to have 50 million in the summer to spend. Now, if he can go and get a load of Safals for 5 million, that might be all right. But we've already got depleted what it is. I don't know if anyone looks at our lineups before a game. We normally have 2 goalkeepers on the bench. That's how.
Yeah. We've had a few like that this season as well.
That's how lack of players we have. So we've got a depleted squad going into a European season on 50 million to spend. Now, for me in the Premier League, if you don't spend 100 million a year, you struggle. So the top teams out there, they have their bracket, they're always in Europe, they know how to manage it. For teams like West Ham, who aren't used to managing that kind of transfer, aren't used to managing that budget, aren't used to managing, the players, the squad they have for a European season, you need a lot of money, and you need a lot of news up there. And maybe Moyes has got it, and I'm doing him a misjudgment or whatever. But if we get him, 100% fantastic, but this is the problem. I'm too used to losing good players. Payet he still is the best player I've ever seen in the West Ham shirt. Loved him to bits, but he went and done the dirty on us. Arnautovic was an absolute hero. We made him into the top striker in the league, and he done all this. I've signed a new contract, put a video out after a game saying I'm here. I love West Ham. I'm the man to look to bring West Ham glory and stuff like that. 6 months later, he's gone to China, which you always want to do anyway. So I'm used to losing players. I'm kind of like, now I don't want to get my hopes up. If we get him, we get him. If we don't, we don't. We've got to just enjoy him while he's here, and hopefully that he keeps up his form. with us next season if he stays. It's not just a 6 months bloom. So he's been absolutely revelation, and a lot of people are saying he's the only reason why we're still in the top 4 chase. Possibly true, but I think the whole team overall has had a great season, and he's just helped that. And you need good players to just push you across the line. But he's been a revelation since he's come in. To be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think a few times Burnley were linked with him before he went to West Ham. And a lot of Burnley fans said, "Oh, why? We don't want Jesse Lingard. He's past it. He's past it."
We said that. We said that. Yeah.
This is the same people that told us back in the day Ian Wright was past it. Paul Gascoigne was past it. I mean, when Gaza came, yeah, he was past it. I mean, he was sneaking vodka in his bottles at training and stuff.
He was doing it anyway.
Yeah. He's been doing that. He's been doing that since he latched off. Since he latched off nipple, that's it. He's been pretty much doing it. But yeah, with Ian Wright, we managed to get a good season out of him, and obviously got promoted under Stan Turner in the Millennium. So we managed to get a bit of legs out of players like that. But like you said, Declan Rice has had a good season. Another player, I'll go back to what Rich's comment was. Would you take that, Jesse, and 40 million for Rice?
I'm gonna sound like I'm a bit, up myself saying this, right? I don't care what anyone says. If you watch Rice every week like I do, it's not just what he's worth to football, it's what he's worth to us. And for me, he's worth 100 million at least. When you see players going for 100 million plus, or being rated 8, Maguire going to Man United for 80 million from Leicester, I would say Rice is more important to us than Maguire was to Leicester. The way
he's like your new Mark Noble in a way, isn't he?
He is, but he's a level above, because Mark Noble was not in the England team like Rice is now, and that adds at least 20 million to your price tag. Just the way football is. I wouldn't let Rice go for anything. If someone offered us 200 million, I still wouldn't let Rice go. You'd have to offer us a whole 11 team of world class players for you to think that Rice is going to be let go. He's that important. You can see the difference that we've had since we've had to put Noble in. No disrespect to Noble at all. He's just not at Rice's level. The fitness level, the way he gets around the pitch and stuff like that, and drives us forward. So for me, it's Rice is priceless to me. There's nothing you can offer, especially this summer. He might be off next summer, I don't know. But I always said that the other thing as well. I always said that if you want to keep hold of your best players, you've got to be successful. So luckily enough, we are going for Europe. So the chances are of him staying are higher. If we'd have been mid-table, I'd have been saying goodbye to Rice in my head 4 months ago, because there's no chance you keep hold of your best players. Chelsea go and sign him in the summer. That's the way I'm thinking it. So, I'd take just Lingard, but only at the right price. And then maybe that's me sounding a bit, stupid, but that's just the way I think of it. I've been called stupid as well by the other West Ham mates and all that, so they think you're an idiot. But so what? No, that's my opinion. You've got to give your opinion, haven't you? So
yeah, of course you have. Rich has asked, I'm not sure whether you know, but how long a contract is Rice on?
He's meant to be on 2024. 2020. He's been another 3 years left. I think they upped his contract by about 50 grand as well by doing. I think he's only on about $4 grand a week, which I know it's only $4 grand a week, but for a footballer, that's miserly for what he was doing. Yeah, exactly. So So 2024, I believe, is what his contract is.
It's like you say as well. The success this season, the fact he's a West Ham boy, pretty much. Being in that Europa / flirting with the Champions League, surely he's going to want to have a taste of that with West Ham. So that should rule, sort of put to bed any doubt of him leaving this season coming, at least.
Well, he loves West Ham. He actually thanks us and appreciates the fact that Chelsea let him go from their academy and West Ham gave him a chance. He's always said that, and he actually loves West Ham to bits. Now, there's also a part of me that goes, well, professionally, you don't love a club. They're just good enough for you. It's flavour of the month. The minute Chelsea offer him a better contract in Champions League football, he might go, "Now I've done my time at West Ham. Now I'll see you later." His best match is Mason Mount, so a lot of West Ham fans are hoping that they fall out or something like that. He wants to stay at West Ham rather than go to Chelsea. But he's loving West Ham. But this is, like I said before, I can't get attached to the players at the moment with the way we've been treated in the past. So yeah, he's one of our best players, but this is football, and football in the day is a business now. So if we get a good offer, he might go, do you know what? I've loved my time here, but we've made him captain. That's a massive thing as well. I think you see when you see the way that players are treated by clubs, if you're given a captain's armband, it normally means you're quite good around with the other players as well, and you're being highly thought of by the club. You know, for me, it's a little bit like, oh, you know, give him the armband, make sure the sense to hold him to the club, which maybe it is, and that's fair enough. But he seems to be a guy that has got a lot of integrity about him, football-wise, and he tries to do his best. And as far as I know, he loves West Ham. So, you know, if anything, that's something to hold on to at least.
Oh, massively. Mel's asking a question. What are the players you would get rid of from West Ham in the summer window?
I ask questions like this. The way we are, we can't afford to lose players because we're depleted. But there there's a few players. I think Yarmolenko, he had a good little run. I think, you know, 2 seasons ago or something like that. He's an iffy player. He's quite injury prone, and he's on his day. You know, he's a great player for Ukraine. He's up top scorer for them. You know, he plays up front. But he hasn't really got the pace anymore to play on the wing, and that's really kind of where we bought him from. You know, to be a right winger who cuts inside. And he started off his career really well at West Ham, I thought, and just injury. You know, got a bad ligament injury in his first few months, and he hasn't really recovered from that. And he gets a good run in games, and he goes down again, or he gets a good sub appearance and stuff like that. But probably Yarmolenko will go. I think Anderson has gone on loan to Porto, and he's had a lot of mental health issues, as far as I know, and hasn't worked any hard. You know, the president of Porto has regretted taking him on, doesn't want him at the club anymore, and he's saying, well, once the loan goes, we want to send him back. We're not sure if West Ham are going to take another chance on him, but he was really good in his first season, in my opinion. And but after that season, I don't know what it was. He was found out by the clubs, and his confidence has been knocked. I'm not sure, but he's a very religious guy, and I think he takes things to heart. And his career at West Ham looks like it's coming to an end, unfortunately, because he has a potential to be a really good player. And then you've got players like Lanzini, who got a bad injury about 4 years ago, and hasn't really recovered from that either, but he's still a really good player. So he could be going. I think it's players that have been here for a couple of seasons that haven't really. They've left their mark at the start and haven't really got up to that yet. So they're probably looking to be sold in the summer. I don't really think there's. I look at our team now, and I don't think there's a bad player in that team.
Yeah.
There's players that maybe aren't at the level of others, so they'll come in, they'll do a job, but they won't be able to do any more than that. And it's a bit, you know, disappointing on their regard, because they probably have played quite well in the past. But now West Ham seem to be getting these new players in, like Souček and Soufal, for example, who, you know, and Lingard, who boost that standard up even more. Some of our players are still riding off West Ham, fighting a relegation battle the previous season. So they're thinking, what is this? You know, this standard's completely above me. So it's not me wanting to get rid of players. It's players I think will be got rid of, and I think Moyes will try and be earning as much money as he can to push us on next year even further. But we'll have to wait and see.
No, I totally agree. Mel's got another two questions in. First one, who do you guys think will win the Champions League this year?
Well, I'll let you go first if you want.
I think it's tough. It's tough to choose. I mean, with, like you say, with no bums on seats in stadiums, you don't know what sort of performances you're going to get. Teams this season have been so different at home from away from home. Teams you'd usually see that use their home as a fortress are sort of not that anymore without having that 12th man backing, like we've already said. I wouldn't even like to pick. I really wouldn't. I know I'm supposed to, but I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
All I can say is I hope it's an English team.
Yeah, I get that. I personally think I can see Real Madrid winning it. I think Benzema's on form. We've got a good team there, you know. But Man City on their day can beat anyone. Chelsea were in good form as well. To me, mentally, that's true, but I'm not even thinking about Champions League. I'm trying to think. I don't want an English team to win the Europa League because it might affect their chances of finishing in the top four. But yeah, I love the Champions League, and I did watch some highlights for the semi-finals, and I think that, you know, Real Madrid, to me, Benzema looks so on form up top. I think they might win it again, but then, you know, PSG are hungry for it, aren't they? For the thing, but they've got to overcome that away goal deficit for Man City. But it'd be interesting. Whatever happens, it'd be very interesting.
Yeah, 100%. Fun question as well. If you guys had to have a sit-down meal with a rival club, Who would it be and why? I'm just going to go straight out. It'd have to be with Blackburn, and I would slag them off every single minute I'm there. I would tell them every time they come up with something like, "Oh, well, we've done this, we've done that." I'd just be like, "Look, the only thing you can revert back to is '95 when your big boss owner Jack Walker decided to come in and splash the cash, sort of be like a poor man's Man City back then, and just sort of go all out of it because that's all they bring up. '95, at least we've won the Premier League, and." Look at where you are now, you big shower of crap. Look at where you are now compared to us. So, yeah, it'd have to be Blackburn just so I can keep flicking insults. And, straight off.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Fair enough.
And I'd make sure that they have a load of legends there just for me to piss off a little bit more.
For me, being a London club, we've got quite a few rivals as far as I know. But rivalry, for me, it'd actually be Arsenal. I'm
expecting a comment from Mel in a minute.
Growing up, I was used to the Invincibles and West Ham, obviously going down in the Championship and stuff like that, and Arsenal being a top team in England and stuff like that. And then when they moved stadiums, the move wasn't really. I don't think the Emirates compared with the impact that Highbury had and stuff like that. And I don't think Arsenal have reached the heights they had when they were at Highbury compared to where they were at Emirates. And I think I'd ask them. I try to ask the fans, but I'd also go, well, Henri, why did you leave? if you loved Arsenal that much, why did you leave to go and get trophies at Barcelona? What was it about the Emirates Stadium you didn't like and stuff like that? But I don't know. It's I don't like Millwall just because they're geographical rivals. It's all the history of West Ham, and I've never really met a Millwall fan I don't get on with. To be fair, they're normally quite all right. Spurs fans are a bit. I haven't honestly got the hatred that a lot of West Ham fans have for Tottenham. I don't really hate many teams, to be fair, but I know that we've got the rivalry with Tottenham. There's so many times we can say, well, we beat you in this game, we beat you in the first game here, beat you in that game there. But I mean, they've I'm not going to say they've been better than us over the years because they haven't really won anything, but they have been in Europe more than us and stuff like that. But for me, it'd probably be Arsenal, just to ask a few questions. I've got mainly about the stadium move because if I moved stadiums.
To be fair, I got asked that as well. Like, obviously in the Premier League, we really haven't got anyone out and out to call a rival. Right. I mean, I know everybody hates Leeds. I mean,
I like Leeds, to be fair.
Do you? Oh, you controversial bugger.
I know. I like the fans.
I don't know why. I think it's just the arrogance of them still being able to call themselves a big club. I think that's what bugs me more than anything after going down to, League One and things like that. I mean, technically, we should be able to call ourselves it. We've won the top division twice. Yeah. We've been on the brink of the bottom. We've sailed through all 4 divisions and without going out of the Football League. And if we had gone out the Football League, we would have been. I think we would have folded due to the finances and stuff. So we managed to stay up and managed to, rebuild. And so, I'm happy because obviously it were long before my time. But here we go. Dan, it's West Ham's fault. Blackburn won the league in '95. Decided to put in a performance. He's got a point. Sorry,
You're
Rich.
welcome.
Sorry, Rich. But yeah, I mean, Rich asked as well, if you could have one Man United player in your team, who would you have? I mean, yours would obviously be Lingard, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was saying welcome to Dan then, by the way, Rich, not yourself, sorry. But yeah. Obviously, we've got Lingard at the minute. I mean, if you're saying any Man United player now, I'd probably go for Fernandes because what he's come in. I think he's been the bright spot that Man United needed to push him on a little bit. A bit like Lingard when he come to us, he's provided that bit of that up the standard, and he seems to be a really good bloke. To be fair, lost all his penalties and all sorts of stuff, but that's another story. But I think, I think Man United have got a good chance of being successful this year. So if we could have one of their players, now I think I like Cavani actually. I think Cavani's come in at his age and been really, he's hit the ground running. I think Cavani. I think many people will look at these players and they go, "Oh, he's 35, however old he is now. If he's over 30, he's like, oh, he's an old man now." It's not the case. If you're a good footballer, you're going to be a good
Oh
footballer
yeah.
for till you retire. So Cavani for me, he's been fantastic. But we got Lingard now. We'd like to keep hold of him. Just don't charge us too much for him. That's all I'd say.
So, what's your memories of previous matches then between us? I mean, this season, obviously at the London Stadium, you beat us 1-0. A rare goal from Antonio. I think he'd just come back from injury at that point as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, before that, we were 3 unbeaten against you. Before that, and it was just, I don't know. It's always been a tough game against West Ham. Apart from that one where there was all the turmoil, the turn on the owners, fans up pitch and stuff. I mean, it were good to watch. It were cracking to watch. But
yeah, from that side, it probably was.
But I loved it. Just seeing Ashley Barnes just tripping a West Ham fan up. I was just like, yes, he just don't give a shit. I loved it.
That's the thing. I've got a lot of respect for Burnley. I honestly, I watch your games, and a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's a Brexit ball, it's Sean Dyche ball, and all this sort of stuff." But I've watched a few Burnley games. I've watched some games. I think they play underrated football. I think they're quite, you're quite hard hitting and stuff like that. But you've got a lot of backbone about you, and when you want to get the ball down on the floor, you can play it. But I'm one of these that don't care what style of football I see playing. If it's long ball, it's long ball. It don't matter. As long as you do it effectively, that's up to you. But again, I'm a minority fan thinking that you will never get most West Ham fans saying it. It's just me. But the protest was a mad one. That was something that I don't think any West Ham fan will ever forget. Just the way it happened, the way it came about. For me, it was quite orchestrated. Once you went 1-0 up, we thought, right, this is it. We're going to do it now. And I think it actually highlighted the shambles of the way the club was run. The fact there was no security or any stewards running onto the guy for It took Mark Noble to grab him and drag him to the floor before there was even a hint of the security guard on the field, which just said it all about the way that the club was run, which I think it highlighted to the press at the time. That was how bad it was. But I tell you now, any Burnley fan that watches this, right, when we look down the fixtures, we look at Burnley just as we look at Chelsea away, Man United away, Liverpool. Oh, it's Burnley, because we know what we're going to get. We don't. West Ham typically don't do well going away to up north. We never have done it, throughout the years. Right, we don't like hard hitting teams that really, they play long ball or something like that. They got a hard nut striker like Chris Wood or Ashley Barnes who don't take no prisoners. We look at Burnley and we like shiver before we play you, and the fact that we get a result against you is fantastic. I think you beat us 1-0 last season. We were trying to fight relegation, and we beat you this year, both are home games, and I think they're always good contests. It's never a boring game between West Ham and Burnley. There's always a lot of blood and guts, and we're always going for it with each other. And it's not really the best football to watch, but I think as a contest, they're really good contests, and it's always one of them games when you're playing Burnley, you're going to be in a game. And that's one thing that I can say about Burnley is they're always an interesting team to play against because you're never going to have an easy ride. You might have one game where you beat them 3 or 4-0, but then you could beat any team 3 or 4-0, and they could beat you 3 or 4-0, as you did against Wolves in the last game. So, I've got a lot of time for Burnley. I think they're great. The one thing I don't understand this, right? Just before I move on, Sean Dyche is a really down-to-earth guy. I've got a lot of respect for him. And if he become West Ham manager after Moyes left, I'd be more than happy. I don't understand how he's good friends with Karen Brady. It doesn't make sense. It's like an angel being friends with the devil. I don't understand it. She is the worst. I'm GSB out. I don't like her owners, right? But I know that Golden Sullivan are muppets. She is the devil in the boardroom. She makes all the decisions. She's the worst thing about the club. And Sean Dyche, I don't know if he was trying to get a job at the time, but he was saying he got on with her. And I know I used to speak to West Ham fans all the time, going, "How? How is he friends? How is he friends with Karen Brady? I don't get it. If anyone can tell me, please, send me a link on Twitter or whatever, because it's one of the many. It's like one of the ninth wonders of the world. I don't understand how they're good friends, but maybe it's a business thing. I'm not sure. I'm not a business-minded person, so that's skimmed over me head. But he's a right down to earth bloke, really, really good bloke, and he deserves success at Burnley. But how he's friends with her, I'll never know.
He must have met her one night in Hooters or something like that.
Sure, working. Like yeah,
little second job on Slayer. My mate Ducky's come in. I didn't know if you were watching, but I hope you're well, mate. I mean, pretty similar to Rich's question, but if you could have any player from any team, who would it be? I mean, I know that broadens the horizon a little bit, but
Can I just say actually on that? I will answer that, but Dwight, is it Dwight McNeil?
yeah,
Plays for you. Absolutely unbelievable player. I've not seen a winger. I think Brady was the last person who played for Burnley. I thought, no, he's got a good
he's
left
another
foot.
one. He's got glass ankles. He's
Yeah,
proper damaged.
Dwight McNeil seems like Brady with good ankles.
Yeah.
He's honestly, you got some good players in that squad, and McNeil's one of them. If I could take one player off Burnley, it'd either be a Chris Wood or it'd be McNeil. But is that question any player in the Premier League or any player in the world?
If there's one player when you start out from any club,
Hoping it's the world.
yeah. I mean,
do you know what?
I mean, yeah. Open it up. I'll open it
Yeah.
up. You know, all over the world or Premier League, whichever. Go on. Sorry.
That's right. I'll say the world and I'll say the league. For me, the old argument is Messi or Ronaldo. I'm a Ronaldo man. That's just me. I know people will disagree, but I've been Ronaldo fan since he was in the Premier League, and that's who I have in the Premier League. It changes week by week, I think, because there's so many players that have good games one week and then have a bad game the next week, and vice versa and stuff like that. But I think a player that I really like is Pulisic from Chelsea. I think he's coming from Chelsea, and he's a lot of people still see American players. They're really good or they're really bad, and he's a bit injury prone, but he's been actually fantastic for Chelsea. And when he played us, I think it was last season or season before, he was just a complete nightmare to play against. He was one of the, Chelsea were bad enough, hard enough to play against as he is, but he come in and he was just a complete, he was just a steam train for our players, just footwork, everything about him. So I don't know. We've played, it's weird to say we're not the best team in the world, but we always struggle to think who's going to play in place of who with our team. So for me, right now, it has to be Pulisic. I think I'm a massive fan of his.
So if I was to take anyone from your side,
I should actually, yeah.
it's a tough one because we wanted Bowen and we've wanted Dawson for about 3 seasons.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to have to say Souček.
Yeah.
I think because that's probably where we are lacking in quality in midfield. I mean, yes, we've got Westwood, Cork, Brownhill when he's in the centre, but because most of our injuries are out wide, we're having to put centre mids, out of the position pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that we've got an aging squad as well, Souček could be perfect.
Yeah.
If I had to go any player in the world, I'm same as you. I prefer Barcelona to Real Madrid, but I would have to say Ronaldo over Messi. And I think obviously the basis is a lot of people can say Messi this, Messi that, but he's done it at one club. Ronaldo, no matter where he has been, no matter who cleans his boots, no matter how many studs are missing, he will perform, he will jump, he will get you goals, no matter where he goes. So yeah, I'm a second year sentiment with Ronaldo. But player from around the world. We're struggling to keep hold of Tarkowski, so I'm going to try and pick out a defender. So I would take a fully fit Van Dijk.
Yeah.
I think him alongside Ben Mee would just be like a shithouse defence.
Yeah.
Proper. There's nothing getting through you. One of them's diving in. Yeah, it's just solid. I suppose that answers the Prem one really, not just around the world, does it? Around the world, I'm going to go say I'm going to say same as Rich. I would say Lewandowski.
Great player.
I mean, you could say Haaland.
Not sure on him yet though. He's an up and comer and he's not quite in there on that yet. No, I know what you mean.
All it takes is one sort of, if he gets all these clubs he's linked with, all it takes is him to pick the wrong club, it not work, and it sort of just take a hit. Rich is a United fan, by the way, says he'd take Nick Pope and Declan Rice.
You can have Pope.
No, you can't.
How good is he, by the way, Pope? Is he? I've watched a few games with him, especially with England. I personally think he's a great goalkeeper. Looks the part, absolutely fantastic. But how good is he from a Burnley fan perspective?
See, it's a tough one because when he came in and he were obviously second fiddle to Tom Heaton, everyone thought Tom Heaton were, as you guys would say, he's different gravy, mate. He's different gravy. But he
different
is.
Different liquor.
Yeah, exactly. He was just unbeatable. You know, when we had Joe Hart pretty much playing because Heaton was cropped and Pope was injured, you could see that there was sort of a fear between keeper and defence. There wasn't that link. It was almost like the link had missing. Then, funnily enough, that was the game. I think Heaton came back against you at Turf Moor.
Right.
And he pulled out a worldy save and out at top corner. From, I think it was Andy Carroll at dying minutes or something, and we ended up winning 3-2 and went on a run at that point. I'm not sure, it might have been 3-2, I can't remember. I'm not sure the scoreline.
Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah.
But yeah, when obviously Heaton went down and Pope came in, he sort of took his chance. I've got to go back to a tweet Middlesbrough put out when they got promoted. They were laughing at us for taking Goodmanson and Pope from Charlton. They was laughing at, we're signing Valdez from Barcelona. Yeah, look how that worked out. Look how that worked out. You know, eat your words. You're now sat languishing. Oh, well, you did all right this season under Neil Warnock. But for me, he is class. He could work on his shorter game, like, you know, for England. If it benefits him for England, then yeah, fair enough. I'm all for him working on that. But one of the best shot stoppers in the Premier League by far. And with a defence that sort of works and believes in him and everything else, there's no going wrong for him. He's probably this season kept us in a lot of games. It's like the missus has said, she's watching. She's said, no, Pope ain't going anywhere. He's what makes our team. I mean, she loves Nick Pope, so I think she loves Nick Pope more than me.
Tough one. But
she's commenting. She's sat behind camera and she's just said, yeah. She's just said, yeah. There's no need for it, is there?
Typical.
Just wait till the camera's off. That's it. It's going to be a little tussle.
It's funny because we're looking for a replacement for Fabianski in the next few years, and we're not too sure if our the youth players that we've got in our team are going to be good enough. And I'm thinking about Nick Pope, but I reckon by the time we've got time for him, he's going to be worth about 150 million. So I'm not sure if we have the money for that. But good luck to Pope. I think he's a good keeper, and I think he did well at Burnley. But that's the problem if you're playing for a team like Burnley, it's unfashionable, and he's that good that it's for England. You got to be playing for a top six club to look like you're going to get in. Unfortunately, I thought Southgate was going to be different when he came in. I think he was going to pick players based on form, but it's a bit like West Ham. We're only now we looked at as a good team, but if you're not playing for the top six, you're a bit of an unfashionable player, and you've got to be really good. Otherwise, you don't really get in. So fair play to Pope. He's going to do really well. I think it'll be England number one in the next 2 years. Either him or Henderson, at least.
It's a tough one because obviously with Henderson and the David De Gea fiasco at Man United, if De Gea goes and it's a case of Henderson comes in and takes his chance, with Henderson being at a club like Man United, there's a chance that he would overtake Pope's position pretty much. And I think it shouldn't be like that. I don't think it should be like that at all. But we all know that there's big club bias at national level. We all see it week in, week out. And I mean, if we're to move on, what's your predicted lineup for Monday night? What from a West Ham perspective?
Well, this is interesting because we meant to have quite a few injuries back, but I'm not too sure in it. I think you can rush players back a bit too quickly. And we Bonner come back after a lengthy layoff against Newcastle, and he looks completely out of sorts. He was like Bambi on ice. He wasn't the same player in it, and he looked a bit better against Chelsea, but you still know that he's getting his match fitness back. Creswell's been out with an injury. Masuaku's been out with an injury. Rice has been out with an injury. They're three big players for us, but they're all meant to be back in training, all meant to be, late fitness tests, all that sort of stuff. But I think the way things are at the minute, we'll probably go with a fight at the back. So it'll be Fabianski, of course, in goal. You'll have Sufal on the right. Dawson's back off suspension, and I think the way that he's been playing, okay, he scored a few own goals recently, but he scored a lot more goals for the team before that. He's performing fantastically well. I think he's had a crisis of confidence, maybe without Bonner. Could have done a lot of things. So maybe Dawson.
Do you think that'll be made permanent as well? Because it's only a loan, isn't it, at the minute?
It actually has. It's not good. It's not been officially made. Yeah, because he's played a certain amount of games.
Right.
This is the thing. This is why we caught the owners out, because I think they brought him in as a loan as a loan signing. He wouldn't play here, and he'd maybe play in a few cup games. He's not going to compete with Diop or Balbuena and stuff like that. But as soon as he come in due to suspensions and injuries, we haven't looked back. He's been a fantastic player for us. I didn't think they thought it would happen. And even though it's only cost us about $2.5 million, the owners are like, that's $2.5 million. Don't want to spend that much on a player. But yeah, he's being made permanent in the summer. That's why the way the contract's worked out. So he'll definitely be a West Ham player in the summer. So it'd be pretty Dawson, Bonner, and Diop if Creswell isn't fit enough to play. But then of course, Balbuena's in there. We've got a good back line, to be fair, but I think Balbuena, Diop.
Yeah, I want to say Balbuena's back in it because his red card was rescinded. So
but it doesn't necessarily mean he'll play, because he's kind of like fourth choice at the back. And this is the weird thing: Creswell isn't really a centre back, but he's been made into a left-sided centre back if we play 5 at the back. But he's still injured, as far as I know. But they're saying he could be back for Monday night, but they're not entirely sure. This is the thing with Moyes. Moyes is different to any manager we've ever had in the past, where he likes to keep things quiet. He likes to sort of go in the press and say, this player. Come match day, it's completely different to what he was saying. I think he tries to keep his cards close to his chest. So I'm going to say, just from what I think he'll do, it'll be Safal, Diop, Dawson, and Bonner. If it isn't Dawson, it'll be Balbuena, but I think it'll be Dawson because he's coming back. Masuaku, if he's fit. If not, it'll probably be Fredericks again at left wing back. I think we're experimenting with that. It'll be Noble and Souček in the middle, with Lingard in attacking midfield, Bowen and Bowen up front with sort of false 9, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then Fornals in second midfield, left midfield, and Fornals is a real workhorse. So you've got this sort of nucleus of players who are meant to play in one position. But if you look at a West Ham game, they're everywhere. Fornals is in holding midfield, and he's in attacking midfield. He's box to box. He's so no player really sort of just stays in that one position. They always move about. But like I said, it's we can't predict. We come on previews every game. Anton, Stella, they do all their stuff. Matt. We try and predict what we think he'll put out, and what we go, right, well, last game he played this, last game he played that. But he's done some really left field things at times. And I think when we're away, he likes to try and mess with the opposition. So Fredericks playing left wing back against Chelsea. No one saw that coming, but we understood it once it was made. We understood the decision. So Burnley away is going to be even more interesting which way he goes. If he wants to just defend and then try and work on set pieces like we have done this season. So for now, I'm going to go with more or less what we had with the last game. But with Dawson coming back, we might choose him in defence. But yeah, it's not as easy. It's not easy to predict at all.
No, I mean, we're quite the opposite. We're predictable week in, week out. Typical Mark Bassett 4-4-2. Pope in goal. Lawton at right back, who for me has had a brilliant season. A lot of Burnley fans will have said pretty much that there's a few that have said he's probably going to be the scapegoat next season, since losing Hendrick. He'd be, the slightest mistake and he gets a lot of flack, but he's been absolutely outstanding. So yeah, alongside Lawton will be Ben Mee, Tarks, Charlie Taylor at left back, right wing. Probably Josh Brownhill again. He's a centre mid, but he's been pushed out there.
Has he played on there? Has he coped with that change?
You can tell the difference between him playing on the right and playing in centre mid. In centre mid, he plays pretty well. But then, like you say, against Wolves, having Jack Cork back alongside Ashley Westwood were just key. It's really shored up that midfield. And to be quite honest, after Cork's injury, I'll be serious, if there's any fans watching, that I thought Cork's career at Burnley was pretty much finished after that injury. But it's clear to see he's still got something to prove. Typical player that plays under Sean Dyche will still come back from injury and try and give their all. And then obviously you've got Dwight McNeil on the left, and pretty much the forward two at the minute that's been working has been Wood and Vidra, so I can't really fault them two as a pair.
Good players.
I mean, yeah,
really good players.
I think Vidra's been overlooked. A lot of fans were asking for him to play. When things weren't going right with Wood and Barnes, which it has pretty much gone all right over the seasons. This season, it just hasn't seemed to click. And I don't know whether that's because of the change of intent. We've started pressing from the off instead of sort of sitting back, trying to get that raggy goal and then sit on it. That's another thing for me that scares me about this game, that if we push too much, we're going to leave ourselves pretty open, and all it takes is one swift counter-attack for a team that, yes, okay, you've lost your last two games, but you've got that attacking intent there, so it'll be hard. Rich asked a serious question. This is serious. Remember, this is serious. Where will West Ham finish next year? Is this year a one-off?
This is the worry. This is the major worry. It could, like I said earlier in the video, it could be the fact that the fans ain't there. As passionate as West Ham fans are, and as renowned as West Ham fans are, we follow our team over that land at sea. We could be a deterrent. We could be a hindrance. Yeah. We don't know. The West Ham might play a lot better without us. This might be a gospel. It's kind of like, I'm thinking when I go back to the ground, I'm a season ticket holder. I'll be going, right, everyone just shut up. Just let them get on with it. They know what they're doing clearly. Just let them watch. Let's just cheer, clap, and do whatever, like Wimbledon. But I don't know. I'm amazed we've come this far, but at the same time, I'm not amazed. This is for me. We've not even had that much recruitment. We've brought in Bowen, we've brought in Suchek, we've brought in Safal. But normally when you see a team like us fight relegation one season and the other season that we're having, you invest a lot. There's a reason why you're doing what you do. It's not just a flash in the pan. You've invested. It's a bit like Leicester. When Leicester won the league, come out of nowhere, but you kind of thought, no, they've got players in there anyway. They know what they're doing. There was a plan there in the first place. Bringing Ranieri in and doing things like that. And I think, honestly, I'm 100% down. No matter what mistakes he's made in the past in his career, Moyes has turned this round, and he's now set the standard. He's now said we do not go under these. But a massive part of us, the reason we've been at such a good season this year, is his back staff. When he brought in Kevin Nolan, I think we played Arsenal away. Big up, Dan. Good man. We play Arsenal away, and I think we lost 2-1 to them. But you could tell the whole demographic. Oh no, it might have been Liverpool. Actually, it might have been Liverpool. We lost 3-2 to them before that. When he come in, you could tell the whole demographic of the team had changed. They seemed to know what they were doing more. The formation suited everyone better. There was more of a cohesive unit. And when Nolan was previously captain of the team, he was. A lot of ex-players that played for West Ham at the time said Nolan was fantastic. He was the one that was getting all the players to, go out for meals together. He was getting dressing room, up for big games. He was a arm around the shoulder if you needed it, and a kick up the arse if some players needed it. He was like a manager in himself on the field. Yeah. And he brought him in. And I think Kevin Nolan hasn't had a great managerial career himself, but since he come in, I think even Moyes has gone. He's helping Moyes out. So Moyes has done a fantastic job as well. But I think it's highlighted as well what many teams don't really see in behind the scenes is that a manager's a manager, but he also needs his staff. He can't do it all on his own. And
massively.
And our back staff are. You can see on the training ground. You can see the videos. We had a live stream the other week. And you can see all the coaches one-on-one talking to the players, giving them one-on-one advice and stuff like that. And you just get this impression that the whole team as a unit is fantastic. And this is the thing, when we're linked with players like, when we were buying Anderson under Pellegrini and Haller and stuff like that, I don't think West Ham fans are that bothered if we don't do that now. I don't think we see it as we have to go and buy this marquee signing. We're fine with Moyes bringing in the players he wants. It's in Moyes we trust. He wants to buy a championship player, let him buy a championship player. He'll probably come in and turn him into a really good thing. So if this is a flash in a plan, then it's gutting, but it's fair enough because West Ham fans don't know very much different in the Premier League anyway. But I think that he's set a standard now where we're thinking, right, we're going to go for Europe every year now. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go for might challenge in the cups a bit more than we have done. So I don't know. We're going to finish this season, to be honest with you, let alone next season. But if it carries on the way it is, long may it continue, but I think we'll be the standard's been set now, basically.
Yeah, I think no matter what, you've got to look at finishing bottom of the top half. Is at least finishing in that top half has got to be a successful season from now on. That's kind of got to be your benchmark, finishing top half of the table. Anything else from that's pretty much a bonus without trying to, and pushing it sort of and thrust it onto them all.
Yeah.
So like you've got to do more. Like sometimes when you're playing Football Manager and you try to ask them for a bit too much and they all start turning negative.
Yeah.
We don't need that. You don't need that. Like we've said, I think we've said it's going to be a tough game on Monday. Are we the new Stoke? Can you say that nobody likes a cold night under the lights at Turf Moor? Can you sort of say that? I mean,
yeah.
It's a big statement. I mean, we're fans there. I can understand it, with that little bit of backing, but
Stoke are a completely different demographic. I think Sean Dyche is a bit more your football man compared to Pulis. I think as far as I know, Pulis was a bit of a rugby man as well before he became a football manager. So he liked a bit of that. And Stoke weren't really a football team after time. They were a bit more of a rugby team, and they had the old javelin thrower taking throw-ins. So
it could all go that.
Yeah, a bit like a WWE team. They all had the little things going on with them. But I think that. Burnley are a bit more of a football team than Stoke were. And look, I'm not being funny, proof's in the pudding. We're a Stoke now compared to Burnley. So, I don't think you've got any worries. You might fight relegation in a few years, but I don't think Burnley got much to worry about. Maybe you need a bit more investment here and there, with players, etc. But Sean Dyche has got you covered, I think.
Yeah, I think that's alongside similar to yourselves. We need a big summer this year. Obviously, yes, there's been a pandemic. Yes, we're only a small town club. We're a small fish in a big pond. And obviously, we've got new owners in January. So for them to come in at that sort of crappy time, fingers crossed, and we didn't do anything. I think we spent 750k this season. That's it. That's all we'd spent. A third choice goalkeeper. Yeah. A third choice goalkeeper and a midfielder we wanted 4 years ago that turns out now he's in his 30s and doesn't really play much in Dale Stevens. So we obviously need to see some investment, especially with big name players being linked with moves. But yeah, I think we're pretty much safe. Like I say, I think you've got it more to play for on Monday, trying to keep yourselves in and around. Keep that toe dipped in the water a fourth, pretty much. What's your prediction? What's your score prediction for Monday?
I knew you could ask me this. I always hate this part because I never really know. I've got to go for a win, haven't I? I've got to go for a win because you always got to predict a win. Really, it's going to be very, very tough. But I can see it being a 2-1. I think Lingard will score. It was quite unlucky not to score against Chelsea actually. If he had a few chances, but this is how good Chelsea are. They're not letting you do what you normally do. They're that good at the moment. So maybe if, like you say, if Burnley are a bit more susceptible to counter attacks and stuff like that, he'll have a bit more of a field day. I think Lingard and possibly Dawson if he comes back from a set piece. But then I think Burnley loves set pieces as well, so it might be a bit of contradictory. But I think 2-1. I can see Chris Wood always loves scoring against West Ham. If it ain't him, it'll be Ashley Barnes, and if it ain't him, it'll be my mate Dwight McNeil. So 2-1, I can see it, and I have to. I can't see anything else. But if it's got to a point now where I'm not holding too much hope. I'm not as desperate for the wins because, like I said, in my mind, mentally, top four's gone. If we get it, we get it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking so 2-1 West Ham for me. Got to do it in, really. So, what's yours? Let's have yours. Come on.
I usually sit on fence with draws, mate.
Come have some bottle back, yeah. Come on.
Right, I'm going to go similar to you, but to us, obviously.
Okay.
Although I could see it being a scrappy 1-0 though as well.
Yeah.
It's one of them, like you say, it's going to be quite aerial battle from set pieces. If Burnley have that no plan B like they had against Newcastle a few weeks back, where they're still pumping the ball into the box and Dubravka's just coming out and collecting it. And there was just nothing about Burnley. There was no change to the way they were playing. They wasn't utilising what was going on. So
I watched that game, and I must admit, I thought you were quite unlucky because it all changed when Saint Maximin come on. He completely changed the game for me, and he was that's one player actually. Do you know what? Going for the previous comments, there's one player that I could have who I think would be a reasonably priced player. Would be Saint Maximin from Newcastle. I think he's at the wrong team for what they are, and I think he'd be brilliant from West Ham. He's sort of down to the ground. He could be a new Antonio, make a midfielder into a striker. That's what Moyes loves doing. He loves putting midfielders into strikers and wingers and all that sort of stuff. So Adam Armstrong, he's been linked with us, and this is the ironic thing. If we get linked with a Championship striker, they instantly stop scoring. I don't know what it is. Even if we were linked with Ivan Toney from Brentford, he hasn't scored in about 2 months. I don't think. It's just
I was going to say he's a player that I'd love to see at Turf. Like not Adam Armstrong though, Ducky. No, I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. That's like us saying, yeah, come on, David Dunn, you can walk into our midfield. No, he'd come in and he'd be a punch bag. That's about it. He'd be that little rabbit that the dogs chase, in dog racing. That's what he'd be.
All I remember about David Dunn was that the botch skill he'd done away at Birmingham years ago.
That was quality.
Classic, wasn't it? That was brilliant. He must be having dreams about
that. I mean, the thing that sticks out for me why we hate him more is that we could have beat them a lot earlier than what we did, but he scored an equaliser in like the 90 plus third minute or something, and it was offside. There was no VAR then, but it was offside. Yeah. And I think that's what gave him more of it. I mean, he was already hero status there anyway, but
that's why VAR works out sometimes. It does come to your aid sometimes.
It does. Knowing us though, it probably still wouldn't. Still,
I know.
Could have been someone at Stockley Park saying, "But do you remember '95?" Yeah. But no, honestly, mate. Cheers and thanks for having giving us your time to come on. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, I would actually just like to say, because Anton will have a go at me if he watches this back, I didn't do a very good job of advertising this at the first start of the stream.
No, it's all right. I was about to say it. Like, where can people find your stuff and give another plug?
Yeah, check us out on YouTube. At the moment, we're not posting anything on the socials because obviously we have this social media blackout against racism and stuff like that. And so we'll be back on probably Monday, I think it is, on Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, we're on all the socials. I personally run the Instagram account. But it's funny because neither of them like doing Twitter, and they think they have to do it. They're not Twitter people. They're very much old boys with Facebook and stuff like that. But yeah, we post every day. We have a West Ham daily. Not that you're going to watch it because you're Burnley fans, but still, if you can, be brilliant. Just one little like, and that's it. But yeah, Irons United on YouTube. We're growing, constantly putting out content for viewers and stuff like that. So dedicated channel, and all fans, all welcome. So if you ever want to come onto West Ham channel and have you say Burnley game or whatever, then feel free. But yeah, so Irons United, give it a like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. So brilliant. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Honestly, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. It's been I don't get the opportunity to do this very much because I'm always working and whatever. Or Anton just doesn't give me the permission to do it. But, yeah, he must be saying, "Do you want to go on?" I go, "Yeah, go on. Yeah, no, 8:30 Friday, nothing else to do, so it's fine."
No, seriously, honestly, thanks for your time and everything. Like you said, go and check out Irons United. I mean, if you've got an account on YouTube, even if you don't watch, just giving them that subscribe and that support. It helps having that, that one little click. That's all you need to do. So
if you're an idiot like me and you can't find this particular YouTube channel for a complete day, I think it took me 6 hours to find it on the YouTube app and subscribe.
I know. I don't understand why.
I know. I don't.
My stepson did the same. He tried to look for it on his TV and it won't come up. He tried Cricket Field End TV. He tried CFE TV. And it just kept coming up with like videos from abroad somewhere and things like that. And I was like, what?
Because you got cricket, it kept coming up with cricket YouTube channels. I was like, this is not what I'm looking for. I don't mind cricket, but that's not what I'm looking for. But yeah, nice one, mate. Anyway, but yeah, cheers, top man.
No, thanks for coming on. Obviously, if you want more Burnley content, head over to ours at Cricket Field End, at the Cricket Field End on Instagram and Facebook. I would like to say there might have been a bit of an issue with Facebook tonight. It's probably to do with me. I called my sister a horrible beast and got a 24-hour ban. So, I called her a horrible beast and I got a 24-hour ban. So, if there has been issues, then I do apologise for all those that missed out by Facebook. If you have come off Facebook and gone to YouTube, thank you very much for giving us a watch, giving us a like and everything. But yeah, good luck for Monday to us, obviously.
Yeah, good luck after Monday. Is what we
Yeah,
always say.
after Monday. Yeah, after Monday. I couldn't find the correct wording then. But yeah, honestly, good luck for the rest of the season. I hope you do. I hope you do make it, because it's always good to see, another team in there. And what's with the comment?
It's a good compliment. It's a positive
It
comment.
is.
It's good.
It is. Hopefully, when I come off, she goes, "Oh, you did really well," and pats me on the head, makes me a brew. There's more chance of me being sent to bed. But no, honestly, thanks for coming on. Like I say, check out his channel. Check out the Cricket Field End. I've been Dan. He's been Luke. And thanks for watching.